host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 118 of the 815 exchange. And we're back. I mean, not that we really left, but we're back. We're back. It just feels like we're back. I don't know what it is. I just feel refreshed. I don't know what. I mean, there's some things that happened over the past week, but I don't know. I feel very refreshed. As some of you know, if you're one of the people that watches the reaction videos, we re-entered the 1K club, so that was nice to see. We are getting very, very close to that 800 subscriber mark. So as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And let's just knock this out of the way because we always do them in tandem. And that is that everything you are looking for can be found in the description. So if you really want to hear me talk about the NFL segment, all of the craziness that happened this week in the NFL, or you want to hear me talk about the World Series and the Astros beating the Phillies and my pain there, whatever it is, feel free to skip ahead. Timestamps are provided in the description, as are all of my social medias. All my social media tags. You can go follow me there. You want to hear me talk on Twitter, or you just want to see me recap my days on my stories on IG and Snapchats, feel free to do that below. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have plenty to talk about. We really have plenty to talk about. So let's get straight to it. All right, y'all know what it is. First segment of the week, it's got to be college football. And also, it's got to be Charlotte. It's got to be Charlotte because, we got to pay our respects to the home team, even though they've paid no respects to my eyes in watching this football team attempt to play football this year. Western Kentucky butchers UNCC 59-7. Another week, another loss. We look like the Charlotte of old. I don't think we're going to win a home game this year, which is tragic because it's my senior year. But I do not think we're going to win a home game this year. We are not a good football team, and like I've said, and I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it in the future, we have the worst defense in Division I football. I don't need to look at the stats. Though, once again, somebody can feel free to look up the total defense stats and see who's the worst. But I believe we are the worst defense in Division I football, including FCS teams. And I'm talking about the pits of hell in FCS. We just suck. We suck. We're secondary. I mean, we suck. We can't tackle. Can't go. Good Lord, we couldn't cover a plate with a napkin. We couldn't cover a pot with a lid. It's terrible. Austin Reed has a career day, 409 yards, 6 touchdowns. Malachi Corley, if this is going on his NFL tape, 6 receptions, 162 and a touchdown for Malachi. He's him. 7 different players. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 different players on Western Kentucky caught a passing touchdown in this game. 7 different players got a receiving touchdown. That makes absolutely, positively no sense. No sense. Charlotte sucks. Y'all know what it is. Now, let's talk about my other favorite team because we played just a little bit better even though they had to make it as agonizing as possible. USC survives California 41-35 at homecoming. Of course, we are still playing without Jordan Addison. We are also still playing without, possibly even more importantly, believe it or not, Eric Gentry. And that is a problem because this defense looks lost without Eric Gentry. I cannot underestimate how important Eric Gentry is to this team. Because without him, this defense just falls apart. We had some absolutely dog water, pitiful sequences defensively in this series. I mean, we made Jack Plummer look like his pappy back in school. I mean, 406 yards and 3 touchdowns for Plummer. I mean, he looked dominant. He looked like an all-conference style caliber quarterback, with all due respect to Plummer. But we made Cal look way better than they are. Nonetheless, we got the win, and a big reason is due to a guy who should be in the Heisman conversation, even though he's on the West Coast, so the West Coast players never get any love in the Heisman convos, but he needs to be in there because he's carried us more than once this season. 390 yards and 5 touchdowns for Superman himself, Caleb Williams, Michael Jackson III. My boy. 5 receptions, 115 and 2 touchdowns. Taj Washington, 7 receptions, 112 and a touchdown. I know I come on here and I say Ohio State has the best receiving corps in America, and I'll probably say it again this week. But I got to pay some respects to our Trojan receiving corps, even though we might not have the big names and the 5 stars that Ohio State currently has, at least for this iteration of our receiving corps. We still have a very, very good receiving corps, and it's still very deep, and we got a lot of guys that can make plays. Taj Washington stepped up multiple times this year. Michael Jackson's been on fire as late. So, yeah, shout out to MJ3 and Taj for getting it done. They stepped up big. They've been the targets that Caleb's needed, especially with Addison out. And also, I think Mario was also not playing in this game. So, yeah, without our 2 best receivers, we had people step up. Caleb Williams, of course, is Caleb Williams, the best quarterback, arguably, alongside... There's been a lot of Drake made. I guess we'll get to Drake. All right, we'll get to Drake here a little bit later. But yeah, Caleb Williams, him. Ohio State takes out Northwestern 21-7. This game was ugly. It was also played in a fucking tornado. So I will minimize the Stroud slander, even though he played like garbage for the first 3 quarters of this game. It's a reoccurring theme. It is a reoccurring theme with CJ Stroud. Except this time it didn't look pretty on the box score. It normally looks pretty on the box score. It didn't look pretty on the box score. It also wasn't pretty to watch. Okay, CJ Stroud did not play a good game. But when it mattered, I will give credit where credit is due. CJ showed up. He showed up. I don't know why Ryan Day in the Ohio State offense, by the way, kept trying to throw the ball in 50 miles per hour winds. Don't really understand that. But sure, go ahead. But yeah, Stroud wasn't particularly great in this game. This was the game to run the ball, and you know what? Maya Williams, 111, 2 touchdowns. Evan Hull had 122 and a touchdown for Northwestern. Like I said, this game was played in a tornado. Ohio State, for a lot of this game, did look like they were about to lose, but the defense showed up big time, made the necessary stops. Of course, they dealt with the elements. Stroud decided to run the ball by some miracle of life, because I don't know what happened when he got to Ohio State, but it's just like he got programmed out of his system, and it's made him a worse quarterback, to be completely honest. But you know what? He ran the ball. It mattered. He made some big plays. Didn't play a great game, but you know what? He got it done. Ohio State survives and advances. TCU takes out Texas Tech 34-24. TCU runs Texas. I don't know any other way to put it. But you know what? I guess we're going to find out, because we got the darn Texas Super Bowl for College Game Day this week, because they play UT. But yeah, TCU remains undefeated. Max Dugan and Keandre Miller. How many times have we said it every single week? Max and Miller have been awesome. I mean, awesome for TCU. And yeah, they led the way again, 195 and 2 touchdowns for Max. Keandre with 158 and a touchdown. They get the job done. Horned Fox take out the Red Raiders. I said I was going to talk about Drakeo, so let's talk about Drakeo. Not the first Drake we're going to talk about this week. UNC takes out Virginia 31-28. Virginia finally had their offense show up for the first time in over 365 days. However, it didn't matter because Carolina has Drake May, who low-key has emerged as, in a lot of people's eyes, in a lot of like draft prospects' eyes, as the best quarterback prospect in the country. Drake May has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. He should be in Heisman conversations. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to say it. Drake May needs to be in Heisman conversations. 367 yards and 3 touchdowns. Him and Josh Downs' chemistry in this game was outrageous. Downs had 15 receptions for 166 yards and a touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball for the Tar Heels, Cedric Gray was everywhere. 16 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for a loss. I mean, he was tackling everything with a pulse. And yeah, Carolina came up clutch. Listen, Drake May, if you didn't know, now you know. Get acquainted, because he's looking like he might be the top dog. Josh Downs, once again, one of the best receivers in the country. No surprises there. Now let's talk about the battle. I mean, technically game of the century, even though it was 1 versus 3 according to the College Football Committee. But technically the 2 number 1 teams in the country, Georgia number 1 in the AP, Tennessee number 1 in the CFP. Who is the true number 1 team in the country? And it's who a lot of people thought the number 1 team in the country was, and that's just Georgia. Let's be honest. Georgia gets it done 27-13. That defense went, they were trying to take out Hendon. They were trying to take out Hendon. They wanted to make sure that he was not going to get anything close to any type of rhythm so he could cook up him and hype. They were not allowing it. Georgia makes a statement. A statement in this game. A lot of questions been asked about whether Georgia still had it. Was this team on the caliber of last year's incredible national championship team? Well, the question got answered. The answer is yes. It's a resounding yes. Because my. Stetson Bennett, by the way, stepped up big time. Stead with 257 passing, 2 touchdowns, and a touchdown rushing. Bullet with 2 sacks. Jalen Carter had some absurd number of QB hurries. I don't know what it was, but it was something ridiculous. Keely Ringo with that pick. Now, I'm not as high as Keely Ringo as a lot of other people are in terms of him being quarterback 1 in this coming draft. But he's a great athlete. He has some great plays. He makes a lot of big plays and big moments. And, that counts for something. Malachi Starks is going to be a superstar and a future first rounder one day. Georgia's ridiculous. All right, Georgia is ridiculous. Tennessee, no shame. You went into the hedges. The environment was insane. You took an L. It's not the end of the world. In fact, your playoff hopes are not even dead because we know the CFP committee loves to put 2 SEC teams in, and you're the only SEC team that's capable of doing that. We'll get to what happens to Bama very, very shortly. But Georgia makes a statement. They beat Tennessee. Kansas takes out Oklahoma State 37-16. Bean has been honestly fine. Filling in for Jaylon Daniels, who was the September Heisman, he has been fine. He's done his thing. And I think that's more of an inclination of Leopold and Kansas as a whole and just kind of what they're doing more than that's like a hit on Daniels' talent. But yeah, just shout out to Kansas. They're getting it done. Oklahoma State's in free fall. They are in free fall. And it looks like there's no way where it's ending. They're just falling and falling and falling and falling. Bean had 296 and 3 touchdowns in this game. Neal goes for 224 yards rushing and a touchdown. No Spencer Sanders for Oklahoma State in this game, of course. Rangel got picked off 3 times. It was a nightmare. It is currently a nightmare in Stillwater. We'll see if they can fix it, but it's not good right now. Kansas takes out both Oklahoma teams in the same year for the first time in a very long time. LSU and Bama. My goodness. Game of the week, perhaps. LSU. Brian Kelly has the biggest balls on the planet. I was screaming at my television and threw the phone to my father. Just go for 1. Why are you going for 2? I don't think this is going to work. Well, Brian Kelly says shut the up because he got it. Mason Taylor plays the game of his life, by the way, the freshman, son of Jason Taylor, Miami Dolphins legend, and I believe NFL Hall of Famer. Mason Taylor with the go-ahead, well, not the go-ahead, with the walk-off winner, 2-point conversion, and LSU takes down Bama. And with that, Alabama officially has been eliminated from playoff contention. Why, you might ask? Well, very easy question. They lost to Tennessee. They also lost to LSU. They're done. All right, they're done. All right, put them in the grave. Bama's done. And somehow, someway, Will Anderson and Bryce Young never win a national championship, which is crazy to think about. But Jaden Daniels has it all figured out right now. 277, 3 touchdowns. BJ, oh my goodness, BJ, 11 tackles, 1 sack. 1.5 TFLs. Harold Perkins, freshman All-American, that's been a stud. 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL. Bama got, 6 sacks for them. 6 sacks for them, so credit where credit's due. Bryce goes 328, a touchdown and a pick, but it wasn't enough. No matter how much Bryce might have that dog, it didn't matter. LSU came to play, and they said, you know what? We're finishing the job. Brian Kelly said he came to LSU to beat Nick Saban, to beat Alabama, and he did it in year 1. Year number 1. Doesn't get much more impressive than that. LSU takes out Bama. Texas takes out K-State, 34-27. This is another game that went very, very close. Quinn Ewers with 197 and 2 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson, 209 and a touchdown. Adrian Martinez, 381 and 3 touchdowns for AM, but it was not enough. It just wasn't enough. Bijan, one more to say. Bajan. It was Bajan. Let's be real. It was Bajan in this game. He was the difference maker, as he seems to always be. He's running back one for a reason. Notre Dame upsets Clemson. I had a feeling about this one, but I wasn't sure. DJU, after we talked about all of the progress he made early on in the season, we talked about maybe Big Cinco was turning the corner. No. Nope. And Marcus Freeman, by the way, has just been a changed man since converting to Catholic. I mean, he has been a changed man since he became Catholic. And this has been a changed Notre Dame team since he became Catholic. I don't know what it is, but this Notre Dame team has been moving different. And in this game, it went down to the running game. Diggs, 114. SMA, 104 and a touchdown. Bertrand, 12 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 TFLs. A Notre Dame masterclass, a Marcus Freeman masterclass, and a Clemson disaster class. A nightmare for the Tigers. And playoff chances take a big hit here. We'll see if they can recover. But it's not looking good. I don't know why they benched Cade. I know he threw the pick. That was just an interesting decision. It was a nightmare. And once again, it looks like Clemson has struck out in terms of an offensive coordinator. And to end off, North Carolina State. State takes out Wake Forest, 30-21. Jay Morris. All right, Jay Morris. We talked about it countless times in these past 2 weeks. He's been talked about countless times, should I say. He's making a lot of waves, and for good reason. All right, MJ had 210 and 3 touchdowns in this game. Drake Thomas, 9 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 TFLs for Drake. Sam Hartman, 397. 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, he threw 3 picks, and that's always going to be a problem. A.T. Perry, however, balled out, 12 receptions, 159 and a touchdown. However, MJ Morris absolutely wins the quarterback duel. Turnovers, killer for Wake Forest. Just not the same team, it seems like they were last year, and that's not a problem. They had the best season in a long time last year, and they're still a good team. I'm not going to call them a very good team. They're still a good team, but NC State came to play. Again, MJ Morris has stepped up huge. The State defense stepped up huge, and that's been the difference maker for the Wolfpack. And since we've ended the national schedule, let's just go through the rest of this before I have the rest of the time. Michigan State upsets Illinois. Pitt upstate Syracuse. So 2 ranked opponents go down. We'll see if they make the rankings in the college football playoffs. I think those are 2 teams that could potentially drop. Washington also takes out Oregon State, who were number 25. But the biggest, in this college football roundup segment, the biggest thing I can talk about, however, is the highest scoring game in FBS history between SMU and Houston, which just seems to make sense. Alright, this is going to sound like a video game, but trust me, it actually happened. You can look up the highlights for yourself. Tanner Mordecai had 379 yards in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, but 9 touchdowns. On the other side for Houston, in a losing effort, Clayton Tune had 638 yards total in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 touchdowns himself. An absolutely insane game. I know college basketball starts today, but I didn't know it started on Saturday because this was a college basketball score. Absolutely insane game between SMU and Houston. Absolutely, if not one of the highly close ranked games like at LSU Bama, this was absolutely one of the most entertaining games of the week. And FBS scoring record shattered. Now for combat sports, because Dimitri Bivol returned this week to defend his light heavyweight. I think it's the light heavyweight, even though technically he's a. Well, no, it's light heavyweight, to defend his light heavyweight title, of course, last time out, he beats, at the time, pound for pound, number 1, Canelo Alvarez. However, this time he took on Judo Ramirez, undefeated. Mr. Ramirez, and well, Mr. Bivol, you seem to be him. Dimitri Bivol is a problem. He is a problem. He's got this figured out right now. All right? He UDs Ramirez in a pretty dominant display, to be completely honest. He outboxed him. He went to war with him. Just completely outmatched Gilberto Ramirez. And, Artur Berbatov is the next matchup. He wants to go undisputed, so let's make it happen. All right. Berbatov versus Bivol. The streets need it. The boxing world needs it since Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. are too pussy to fight each other. We need Bivol and Berbatov because I know they are about that life. And I will be looking forward to that with great anticipation. But yeah, Bivol handles Ramirez. And of course, this coming week, we've got a very big card. Legacies are on the line as UFC 281 takes place, featuring and headlined by Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya, taking on his long-term mortal enemy, Alex Pereira. Now, Pereira, since coming to the UFC, has pretty much had a rocket strapped to his back, and honestly, probably doesn't deserve, even though he just butchered Shane Strickland, probably is not the most deserving of this title shot, but who else does he have to fight in this division? Plus, Dana likes money, and this is going to make a lot of money. So, yeah. If I had to pick who I think is going to win, probably pick Izzy just because I think he has the experience factor. And even in those kickboxing matches before Alex turned his lights out, you can argue he was winning them. So, a lot has changed since then. A lot has changed since those fights. So, yeah. But I wouldn't rule Alex out. Like I said, he could be the guy. He could be the guy. Anything we have seen many times in the fight game, that anything can happen. So I will say it. Anything can happen. There's a chance that Alex KOs Izzy. Okay? That is a possibility. I'm putting it out there. It is a possibility. Would I bet on it? Maybe not necessarily, but I think it's a possibility. I think Izzy retains the title and gets revenge, but we'll see. It's going to be an interesting matchup and a true test to see if Pereira is really this kind of Grim Reaper kind of feature that a lot of people paint him as. Also on this card in the co-main events, we've got Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza taking on Zhang Weili. I think Weili gets her title back. It's kind of what I expect to happen. And to kind of end my little wrap-up, recap, or prediction, technically it's a prediction, right? Yeah. And probably one of my most anticipated, besides even Izzy and Alex, Dustin Poirier versus Mike Chandler. Mike Chandler is the epitome of chaos currently in MMA. And, Dustin's always down to throw down, so it's going to be interesting. I think Dustin knocks Mike out. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Dustin knocks him out, but it's going to be very entertaining. However long it lasts, I think it's going to be very entertaining. Mike Chandler, pound for pound, most entertaining fighters. And, of course, Dustin Poirier, like I said, the diamond is always down to throw down. But, should be a very interesting card. Of course, we'll talk about that next week. Now, with that said, that brings us to entertainment. Splash. Chainsaw Man. Alright, Chainsaw Man. In the bid to finally fondle some boobs, that is literally word for word his goal. We have Denji now taking on the Leech Devil after he took out the Blood Devil last time out. He had to take on the Leech Devil. It took him to his brink. The man lost the arm. His chainsaw wasn't even really working, but you know what? He got the job done and actually was about to die, so correct that. He got the job done, kind of, but then got, a tongue through the abdomen. It looked like he was about to be eaten before Aki showed up with the rest of the gang and saved the day. However, his reward was, at the end, Power saying that, go for it. And Denji, once again, continues to be the most down-bad character. Also, Power moved in with Denji and Aki, who had made a lot of development, so that's just going to be chaos. Aki just playing this fatherly role to now one child, and now he's got the ultimate problem child in Power. So, yeah. Another great episode. Chainsaw Man has been fantastic. I've enjoyed it a lot, and, let's keep that going, all right? Let's keep that momentum going, shall we? I didn't talk about this last week, but I did watch it last week, and it works because there's another superhero movie coming up that I'm watching this week. But I watched Black Adam. It was solid. Alright, it was solid. It was nothing, I hadn't seen a movie in a while in theaters, so it just felt good to see that. It was solid. Some people I saw hated it, some people loved it. I thought it was solid. Some of the kid kind of got annoying. I'm not going to lie. It felt a little shoehorned in. But you know what? The Rock was good as Adam. Of course, Henry Cavill was back as Superman, which is, was the big announcement that came from it. But he did good as Black Adam. It was interesting to see the lore. I think it was well done. And congratulations to the success of that movie. But yeah, Black Adam's seen it. Of course, the other superhero movie I'm talking about is this week, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever Rises. It's going to be weird not seeing T'Challa, but nonetheless, I will be in theaters watching it to see what happens and see what goes down. It looks like Neymar is going to be Namor in this, so I'm very excited. But yeah, should be a good one. Coogler never really misses, so yeah. Even without Chad, still got pretty high expectations. So yeah, we'll talk about that, of course, next week alongside, like I said, UFC 281 and everything else. Now, one of my highly anticipated albums of the year, even though it was really like a week of anticipation. Her Loss, Drake and 21 Savage. And I know y'all have been waiting on this one. Y'all may have skipped ahead for this one, honestly. Y'all may have skipped ahead because you're wondering what rating is Chris going to give Drake and 21 Savage's Her Loss. I've spun it plenty of times to give it a rating, but I was still going back and forth on what exactly I wanted to give it. Now, I have only given out, I believe, 3 perfect 10s, and I'd have to go back and see what they were. I know one of them was Kai's, I know one of them was Silk Sonic's album, and I forget what the other one was. But I've only given out, I believe, 3 or 4 perfect 10 albums in the history of this show. Today will not be the 4th or the 5th perfect 10. However, it is still going to get a 9.5, which is still possibly the highest score I've given this year. This one grew on me in the second listen, much less the later listens. This one grew on me when I ran it back a second time. You know, at first I was like, all right, this is good, but I'm not sure if anything's. But that second time around, boy, oh, it just started clicking. Now, I will also say something that influences this 9.5 this week and influences my rating and feelings about this album is that, once again, I don't know why this always happens, but maybe it's because he's my favorite artist and just kind of, I don't know. But Drake seems to always drop exactly what I need at the exact time that I need it. And Her Loss just perfectly epitomizes my current state of mind. Perfectly epitomizes. So I needed it, alright? I needed it, I'm not gonna lie, so that aids it a lot. Favorite tracks, Spin About You, Middle of the Ocean was not yet another classic rap clinic. More M's I also liked, and a bunch of others. I really could have gone through a multitude of different songs. Seems like everybody has a different song. It felt definitely more like a Drake feat 21 more than a Drake and 21 type album. Of course, we had the highly controversial bars on Circo Loco, which I think were kind of a bit blown out of proportion. And but you know what? That's Stan Twitter. They're gonna be mad regardless. They're gonna find something to be angry about. And apparently now Drake is, I don't know, somehow, and I don't know. I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest. I hit not interested on all that Twitter shit, so I haven't seen really any of it besides the stuff that people will send me and the fact that I know what's going on. Because I don't care. I'm in bliss. The album was great. 21 did his thing. Of course, the boy did his thing. I'm happy. 9.5. One of the best albums of the year, undisputably. All right, let's talk about it. Okay. After the joy that Her Loss brought me, let's talk about the pain that the Houston Astros have brought me by winning. MLB segment, by the way, probably popped up, but the Astros beat the Phillies 4-1 in Game 6, and the Houston Astros have won the World Series. The hater in me is in pain, but I gotta respect it. I mean, they got a hell of a team. Shout out to Dusty Baker. He's him. Shout out to Dusty. Dusty's a G, man. What can I say? He's not him. Somebody else is him. Jordan Alvarez is him, and Jeremy Pena are him. But Dusty Alvarez is just a G, man. He's an OG. So, yeah, shout out to Dusty. Cool to see him get a ring. And the Astros, what can I say? They're the best organization in baseball. They've done it the best. Yeah, I gotta pay my respects. Jordan Alvarez with the go-ahead. Pena wins World Series MVP, a Gold Glove, and ALCS MVP. I think he's the first man to ever do that. And it was his rookie year. He came out of nowhere, 25 years old, came out of nowhere, filled in for Carlos Correa, and then wins World Series MVP. You have to be kidding me. Phillies, unfortunately, just wasn't their time, wasn't their year. We'll see what they can do next year, and hopefully this just wasn't a one-time Cinderella run, because I would love to see Bryce and Cole get a ring. But the Astros, I mean, they were the class of the league, simply put. Well-deserved. Like I said, it's just they're an incredible team. Incredible team. As much as it pains me, as they are in opposition, to say that they are just a good team, and you know, there's really nothing else I can really say about that. It's week 9 in the NFL, and the Eagles are still undefeated. Okay, the Eagles take out. I said the Eagles. The Eagles take out the Texans, 29-17. The Houston Texans continue their bid for the #1 overall pick, and they're doing a hell of a job. The Eagles are continuing their bid for the #1 overall seed, and they're doing a hell of a job. Jalen Hurts, once again, is just, I mean, I know a lot of people were talking about Josh Allen. We'll get to Josh Allen, what happened to him this week, and Patrick Mahomes, and what happened to him this week. But Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, should probably be MVP #1. Maybe, just maybe. Because he's just taking it to a different level this year. 21 for 27, 243, and 2 touchdowns for Hurts. Miles Sanders also had 93 yards, but Dallas Goedert, man, 8 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. He's really starting to emerge into that tight end. A lot of people thought he was going to be coming out of North Dakota State. Hurts did have 2 fumbles, lost one of them. But like I said, he's been playing so well this year, and continuing in this game. Javon Hargrave has been on fire the past 2 weeks. 3 sacks, led the team in tackles in this game. So, 3 sacks, 3 TFLs. They picked Davis Mills off twice. They caused the Texans problems. Simply put, they caused the Texans problems. Dameon Pierce went over 100 yards, but it wasn't enough. The Eagles get the win and remain undefeated. The Chargers take out the Falcons in Atlanta 20-17. There's been a lot of kickers. To come through the Chargers, but Cameron Decker might have. Dicker the kicker. Remember him from Texas? Yeah, he's back, and he's in Chargers' new kicker. He gets the game winner here from 37, and the Chargers get a needed win. And a win I didn't think they were going to get. It has not been pretty for the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost called them San Diego. This year, to be completely honest, even though they are 5-3 now, it hasn't been pretty. All right, Jay Herbo has not been Jay Herbo. He's been Justin Herbert. Austin Eckler, however, is him. He's him. I mean, he is God's gift to fantasy football right now. Okay, because I just know he's going to give me 20 points every single game. He had 2 touchdowns and almost had an insane touchdown earlier in this game, in which he just kind of regained balance, and it was some, super athletic play. Shots Eckler, one of the best running backs in the game. But, yeah, the Chargers get it done. Palmer goes over 100 yards. Great game from him. Mariota wasn't his finest. Chargers defense made some plays. And, of course, Dicker the kicker gets it done. The Dolphins take out the Bears. Despite the fact that Justin Fields played the game of his life, and by the way, has really turned the corner lately and is starting to look like the franchise quarterback that a lot of people believe him to be, he also broke the NFL record for rushing yards by a quarterback in one game, 178 and a touchdown for Fields, rushing 123 and 3 touchdowns passing. So yeah, over 300 yards I think total, 4 touchdowns for Fields, played the game of his life, probably the best game of his career. However, the Miami Dolphins are back. All right, they are back. They are back. Just keep Tua healthy, and they are back. Tua, the man himself, 21 for 30, 302, and 3 touchdowns. Cheetah, by the way, I think is leading the league in receiving yardage. I also have him on my fantasy team, so that should tell you how well I'm doing in fantasy. 7 receptions, 143, and he finally scores a touchdown. Feels like it's been forever. Waddle also 5 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown for him. And, the Alabama connection was rocking. Cheetah was rocking. Fields played the game of his life, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And the Dolphins win a great, great game, looking like they're back on track after, the scary of Tua's concussions and, just kind of the unknown of what that, season was going to be like. Seems like they're back on track with him back on the helm. The Bengals, talking about teams that needed a win. My goodness. Even though Cincy is starting to get hot. With Jamar Chase out and with, the Panthers potentially in the worst of trap games. The Bengals came to play. They dominate the Panthers 42-21. This one wasn't close. All right, this one was not close. P.J. Walker got benched. He went 3 for 10 and threw 2 picks. Baker Mayfield actually looked good. 14 for 20, 155 and 2 touchdowns. However, it was just simply too little, too late. And the Bengals, once again, dominant performance. Burrow, solid game for him, 206 and a touchdown. But Joe Mixon breaks the Bengals' running backs record for touchdowns in a game with 5. He had 153, 4 touchdowns, 4 receptions, 58 yards and a touchdown, and 60 fantasy points. So if you played against Joe Mixon this week, I apologize because you definitely took a L. But however, the Bengals gets it done. Much needed win. The Detroit Lions, the Packers are garbage. Oh my gosh. The Green Bay Packers are garbage. They suck. I'm sorry, I can't hold it in. They're terrible. They are terrible. How do you lose to the Lions? 16-9. This team is so painful to watch. A-Rod threw 3 picks. He was visibly frustrated. He also led them in rushing. And when Aaron Rodgers leads your team in rushing at his old age and at his current play, that is going to be a problem. I think LaFleur might get fired. It's horrific. It is horrific right now. They are so incredibly down bad. I mean, it is pitiful to watch. Lions beat I got nothing else to say, man. They're so sorry, bro. The Patriots take out the Colts 26-3 in a matchup of 2 of the least interesting teams currently in the league. Sam Ehlinger, by the way, starting quarterback for the Colts. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't necessarily good. Mac Jones also had the most Mac Jones game. Classic Mac Jones game, by the way. 20 for 30, 147, 1 singular touchdown, and he didn't turn it over. So, the ultimate Mac Jones game, an absolute thriller in Foxborough, and the Patriots win. However, this one was a little bit bigger, a little bit more influential, including some AFC East teams. The New York Jets take out the Buffalo Bills 20-17. Of course, a lot of people talking about Stephon Diggs versus Sauce Gardner. Diggs beat him on the first play for 40 yards, and then Sauce Gardner said, all right, bet that ain't happening again. Sauce. He also got an interception in this game. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's Defensive Rookie of the Year. Bar something, him falling off a cliff, he's Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he is already looking like one of the best rookies. One of the best DBs in the league. Simply put, Sauce has been great. Garrett Wilson, 8 receptions, 92 yards. Welcome back. Zach Wilson actually outplayed Josh Allen. And his stat line doesn't look crazy, but Zach did exactly what he needed to do in this game to win this game. On the other hand, Josh Allen had a horrible game. Now, of course, there's some elbow issues going on, and you have to assume maybe that's what was affecting him because he did not look like the MVP Josh Allen. 2 picks in this game. However, he was a little bit better running the ball, 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that is the only place in which he was a factor in this game. He was much more of a detriment, and simply put, the Jets defense is real. All right, it's real. Believe the hype. The Vikings take out the Washington Commanders. Of course, this is also known as the Kirk Cousins Bowl, and boy, oh boy, did Kirk have a hell of a celebration. Drives down the field. By the way, they were down 17-7 into the 4th quarter. Actually, after 14 minutes to go in the game, they were down 17-7. Drove down the field. Joseph hits a field goal. Get the ball back. Drive down the field. Dalvin Cook ties the game. Then with 12 seconds to go, Greg Joseph does what Greg Joseph does and hits the game winner. And the Vikings get it done versus Washington. Heineke again, another solid game. Wasn't perfect though. Kirk Cousins showed up big time when it mattered. 265 and 2 touchdowns for him. Jettas. The way he was acting pregame, you just knew he was going to have a big game. 7 receptions, 115, and a touchdown for Jettas. And, of course, an incredibly cool celebration. Kind of reminded me of the Fitzpatrick celebration when he had Deshaun Jackson's fit on. But, they put Kirk Cousins with all the chains on. He was having the time of his life. He gets revenge on his old team as the Vikings beat the Commanders. The Jaguars. I don't know what it is. When Trevor Lawrence gets down, I don't know why he just goes, oh, I'm Trevor Lawrence. Let's show up. Because it happened again. It happened again. They were down 20-7 in this game. And then the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne just decided, you know what, we're not losing this game. T-Law, I mean, the Clemson connection was perfect in this game nearly. 25 for 31, 235 and a touchdown for Trev. Etienne, monster. I mean, you know, a lot of people were iffy on them getting rid of J-Rob, but Etienne is him. 109 and 2 touchdowns for Etienne. Kirk had the touchdown from T-Law, and I mean, Smoot with 2 sacks. The Raiders. Carr. I mean, another team that is just comically bad. Comically finding ways to lose games. I don't know how. But you know what? Tune in next week to see how the Las Vegas Raiders find yet a new way to lose. Devontae Adams, even though it felt like he struggled in this game, still had 10 receptions, 146 and 2 touchdowns. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter because once again, for whatever reason, the Raiders keep finding new ways to lose, and the Jaguars just decided, you know what? We're not losing this game. Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne said, you know what? We saw what happened again for Clemson, yesterday. Not happening. Seahawks take out the Cardinals. The Cardinals suck. I'm going to say it. I've given up faith. I said it before earlier in the year. I don't think Kingsbury is making it by the end of the year. Or at least he'll make it to the end of the year, and then he'll get fired. But either way, I think he's getting fired. Kyler Murray, yeah. Over 200 yards total, 2 touchdowns. It doesn't look bad in the box score. And you know what? He's been running for his life a lot of times. So you know what? I won't put this on him. But that's the best thing I can say about them, man. However, Kenny Walker continues to be great, making maybe a dark horse push towards Offensive Rookie of the Year. 109 yards and 2 touchdowns for Kenny. Lockett and Metcalf get on the board. They sack the Cardinals and Kyler Murray 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And like I said, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. Even with a pick six, wasn't enough. The Seahawks lead that NFC West right now, and the Cardinals are just, might be time to blow it up again, to be completely honest. The Bucks take out the Rams 16-13. Boy, oh boy, in the words of Tom Brady, he needed this. All right, this man, I don't even think he said that, but the way his face looked in that post-game presser, he needed this. After everything that's happened this past month for him, Tom Brady needed this. And for a lot of this game, it looked like it was going to be another Law Bucks, and I was going to join them alongside the Raiders and the Packers in that terms of teams that, were supposed to be good, but boy, oh boy, do y'all just suck. But unfortunately, the Bucks said absolutely not. Tom Brady, with a classic Tom Brady game-winning drive, marches down the field, 9 seconds left, finds a no-name tight end in Cade Otton, and gets it done. Despite all of the drops in this game, by the way, Brady played a solid game. A lot of these incompletions were not on him. He had 280 and a touchdown. Cade Otton, by the way, game of his life. 5 receptions, 68 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp became the second fastest man to, 500 receptions. 8 receptions, 127 and a touchdown. But it wasn't enough, as we say. It was not enough. Brady is Brady. The GOAT is the GOAT. And the GOAT marched down the field, got it done. He also becomes the first man to 100,000 passing yards. I don't know if that's ever getting broken. And of course, Sunday Night Football, we have the Chiefs and the Titans. The Titans control this game for most of the game, but then Patrick Mahomes, similar to what I said about the Jaguars and the Raiders, and what I said about Brady, he just decided not to lose this game. Just decided not to lose this game. Marches down the field, ties the game up, and gets a 2-point conversion. So yeah, Mahomes threw the ball 68 times, had 446 yards, and actually, I believe that's over 500 yards total because he had 63 and a touchdown on the ground. Travis Kelce, 10 receptions, 106? Yeah, 106. Juju Smith-Schuster with also 10 receptions, 88 yards, looking like the Juju of old. And even with King Henry doing King Henry things, 115 and 2 touchdowns. Like I said, Chiefs decided that they were not losing this game, and they did not lose this game. Malik Willis is not, I feel validated for saying what he is. All right, he's not that guy yet. Maybe one day, but certainly not yet. He was not great, especially in comparison to the guy that's probably the best quarterback in the league. But yeah, the Chiefs come through in overtime. Bucker with the game winner. Titans gotta feel like this is one they should have won, but the Chiefs come back and get it done. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup. And of course, it was the final game of the final race, of the NASCAR regular season. It was shrouded in tragedy, but also, I guess, in sweet, sweet victory for, drumroll please, Joey Logano. All right, Joey dominated. Now, I'm not convinced on Phoenix, and I don't know how I feel about one race kind of being the be-all, end-all of the championship, but Logano wins at Phoenix. Yeah, he dominated the race. It wasn't the most interesting race. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, this was It wasn't. All right, this was not a fantastic race. It wasn't thrilling, especially in comparison to like the Xfinity race. It just wasn't that interesting. Logano clearly had the best car out there, and he dominated. Once Chase got spun, or him and Ross had that collision, whatever you want to call it, I knew it was done. I turned away and went to watch football, to be completely honest. But yeah, Logano, he's a worthy winner, even though Chase probably should have won. If we take away the fact that this is kind of one race be-all, he would have won last week. But I digress. Logano, deserving winner, becomes a two-time champ. Of course, he's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best of his generation. And yeah, he wins at Phoenix. However, the tragedy comes from the fact that Ty Gibbs spent all of last week getting, cooked as the number one villain in the sport for what he did to Brandon Jones, and had to field questions and all of that. He then won the Xfinity Series in a very tight race with Noah Gragson, which is the highest of the high. He looked joyful. He looked relieved, almost. However, tragedy struck the Gibbs family as Ty's father and Joe Gibbs' son, Coy Gibbs, passed away at the age of 49, I believe, in his sleep. I believe is what they said. Literally hours after his son won the Xfinity Series. So, Ty, of course, could not drive. There's a big, thing about who's driving the 23. Ended up being Hemrick stepping in, so credit to him and Kellogg for doing that. But, it's the highest of the highs and then the lowest of the low. Winning a championship and losing your father literally hours after you celebrated it with him. Coy Gibbs was at the track. It's just, absolutely insane. Of course, prayers go to the Gibbs family and just kind of everything there. And just because it's an awful, awful situation for what should have been one of the greatest moments of his life is now kind of clouded in probably one of the worst moments of his life. So, prayers to Ty. Congrats on the championship, though. Wasn't the only championship decided this week. The MLS Cup. We haven't talked about the MLS enough. I will say that. Maybe next year we get some more MLS. But yeah, MLS Cup was this week, of course, between LAFC and the Philadelphia Union. And it was an amazing game. One of the best soccer games I'll probably watch all year. LAFC, it goes to pins after Elliott scores in the 124th minute. Then Bale scores with a man down after Crapo breaks his leg very graphically on a red card that he got breaking his leg. So then Bale with the man down for LAFC. Of course, Gareth Bale in a big game. You know what's going to happen. Header, goal, pandemonium in LA. Because, by the way, LAFC was at home for the championship, which, the environment was insane. So, yeah, everybody's going crazy. It goes to pins. McCarthy makes a couple saves. And, LAFC comes back and wins on pins in one of the most improbable and greatest games in Major League Soccer history. But yeah, just insanity. Insanity. One of the best games of the year, undisputably, no question. The guy who came in, McCarthy, who came in as the backup goalkeeper, won MLS Cup MVP. So, just absolutely insane. Pandemonium. Congrats to LAFC, even though I'm a Galaxy fan. Credit to, LAFC. They get it done in a hell of a game. And to end off here with some basketball, Luka has been dropping 30 pieces like people drop candy at Halloween. He's just been unstoppable. Definitely the leader in the clubhouse for MVP. Paulo Banchero is looking like him, looking like the leader for Rookie of the Year. He had 33 and 14 the other day. He's been phenomenal. No surprises here because, of course, I'm a Paulo guy. I'm a Duke guy. No surprises. Paulo is him. But speaking of Duke, college basketball is back today. So welcome back. It's been a long time. It's going to be a very interesting season. Carolina appears to have a super team, which is very, very concerning for me. But we will see. But yeah, college basketball is back as of today. And I hope you guys enjoyed because this is the end of episode 118. I appreciate all the love lately in the last couple of videos. Almost at 800. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Because I'm just, I'm feeling back. I said I was back. And I just don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good right now. We're in a good tempo right now. So let's keep it going. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ocho signing off.